Welcome to part 2 of your January 2026 astrology forecast. Thank you so much for returning. We are just going to dive right into it, starting off with January 3rd. This is a very full month. So then moving one day forward, January 3rd, we have a new moon, or a full moon, in the sign of Cancer. This will be at 13 degrees, not 19. But so full moons are a culmination point. I'll do a separate video on this. But I do just want to point out that although it's not showing on the screen right now because the moon is at 19 degrees, but it will be sextiling and trining the north and south node. So this is going to be another very faded new moon, or full moon, excuse me. And full moons, like I said, are release points. They're times of letting go. They're times of things coming to fruition, coming to completion, time to look at what is harvesting and start after the full moon, start weeding anything that needs to be weeded, anything that isn't working. So I will go more into this when I do the full moon video. So then we move to the time period January 6th to January 10th, and we have the Sun, Venus, and Mars, and then Jupiter all in alignment in the sky. So if you watch Stefan Burns, and I'll link a video of his in the description below, and maybe tag it up here as well if I can figure that out. But he talks about on his channel. He's not an astrologer. He's a geophysicist, astrophysicist. He's really great. But he has a video where he shows kind of the sky, looking at the sky from this program that he has, and he shows how all these planets are in alignment, like the sun, and then you have Mars and Venus, and then over here you have Jupiter. And he said that that this is rare, that he's looked back through time, and that having all of these align pretty perfectly in the sky, he has not seen happen ever before. He has searched, and he hasn't seen the alignment like this ever before. So he's kind of predicting. He looks at what's going on in the sky and what's going on with the sun. He talks a lot about the solar flares and coronal mass ejections and how they impact volcanic activity and stuff like that. But he also talks about how there's energy with all our planets as well, and how this alignment of these planets is so rare. And so what is that going to translate to our Earth, right? And just how rare it is, and the fact that everything is so rare this month as well as this year. Number one, this year is starting off with a bang. This is really the activation point, but also just that we're in a point of no turning back. There's all these rare things combining into 1 month and combining into 1 year, basically. Like there's no turning back. It's go time. So that is fascinating. And if you haven't been introduced to Stefan Burns, I highly recommend watching him. But this is also the time period that we have all of these activations occurring according to astrology. So on January 6th, we have the Sun conjunct Venus here. And so when the Sun meets up with a planet, it is the birth of a new cycle, right? The Sun brings vitality to us as well as to the other planets in the sky. So this is a new birth. So the Sun conjunct Venus does happen every 1.6 years. So it's resetting a one and a half year basically cycle. but it only happens in Capricorn about every 4 years. And so this is what they call a superior conjunction. So it's transitioning, Venus is transitioning from a morning star to an evening star. So there will be a time period of about 3 weeks when we can't see Venus at all. It is called combust in the sun, and that is when, like, all of our on a more spiritual level, right, we're going to be the sun is going to be burning away any outdated value systems, relationships, views on relationships, views on money. It's going to be burning away anything Venus related that doesn't serve us well. And then it's like a cosmic reset button for once Venus in about 3 weeks does start to become visible. That's when we'll really dive into the reset of our love, our values, our creativity, beauty. And we're kind of shifting. When it's a morning star, it's more of like the inner knowing of these things. And when it shifts to a superior conjunction and to the evening star, it is more that we are embodying this new values, new relationship thought patterns, new relationships, new creativity, bringing new creativity. So it's really the birth of embodying the things that we may have had going on inside of our mind. So that is a beautiful birthing point of new values. So then on the 7th, Venus is conjunct Mars. That conjunction becomes exact. You can see there is a triple conjunction here, but the conjunction between Sun and Mars doesn't become exact until the 9th, but still they are all at 17 degrees. You could call this a triple conjunction. It's just not exact. But so on the 7th, we have Venus conjunct Mars, and this happens about every 2 years, but it's irregular in how often it happens in Capricorn. So the last times it's happened in Capricorn was 1962, then 1994, then 2022, now, and then it will be 2054 after that. So it doesn't happen in Capricorn super common, right? So to have, again, it just goes to show how rare it is that all these planets are aligning in Capricorn at the same time. But so what does Venus conjunct Mars mean? So this is, Venus is the feminine aspect, Mars is the masculine aspect. So this is a balance of our masculine and feminine energies, both within our own selves as well as in the collective. It's kind of a resetting point, and I feel like we definitely need a resetting of this balance going on. There's a lot of toxic masculinity, toxic femininity, things have just, the pendulum has swung so far on both sides, and we're so out of touch with how to really align with our divine masculine and our divine feminine, and how they do have roles and how they do work together. And so hopefully this will be a resetting of that. But it's also just overall blending our love, our value, and our pleasure with our action, desires, and assertion. So this could simply be felt as like, sexual tension or something like that, but it also, hopefully for the greater society it is, and for us individually, is really learning how to tap into both our masculine and feminine energies. They need to be, we need to master both. Even if you are a feminine or a masculine person, you need to know how to tap into that other side of you, because they do work in harmony. So it's balancing those aspects within ourselves as well as within society, and we are resetting a new cycle of that in Capricorn, where Capricorn is the energy of stability and structure and willing to work for things and put in effort and things like that. So it might not be the easiest thing to balance this out, but we are willing to put in the effort in order to do so and to build the new foundation for it. So then on the 9th, you see here we have the exact conjunction between the Sun and Mars. So again, this conjunction overall is not extremely rare. It happens every 2 years, resetting cycles of where we have our willpower and our motivation and our drive, kind of what it's built on. And so this time it is in the sign of Capricorn, so it is where we want stability and structure. Like we do want to build new structures and have stability and things like that, and we are willing to work for it and willing to fight for it. We just want now to have it work for us, not against us. And then, even though it happens every 2 years, the conjunction between the Sun and Mars in Capricorn itself, it happens infrequently. The last couple times was 1979 and then 1993. So you might be able to look back to what was going on in your life at those times, and if you had any type of, especially when we get to the readings by sign, if you had anything going on as far as your willpower, motivation, things you were wanting to fight for, stand for, things you were working on building, etc. And then the next time it'll be in Capricorn is 2072. So even though this conjunction happens every 2 years, the fact that it doesn't happen in Capricorn all the time and is happening at a time when all these other conjunctions are happening in Capricorn, like we're really getting a very big cosmic reset to the Capricorn area of our chart, the Capricorn area of the collective, which is where we build structures, where we build foundations, where we're willing to put in the work and fight for things. We're getting a giant cosmic reset here, and it's really beautiful to me that it is in the sign of structure, because that to me makes me believe that whatever we are building, whatever new beginnings are happening now, they are meant to last. They are not meant to fade away. They are not fleeting. They are being this new energy is being built on a solid foundation, right? Because Saturn rules all of these conjunctions happening, and Saturn is in Pisces, where it wants to be aligned with the greater good, with the collective conscious, with the universal love, with our highest selves, right? So we're building the foundation that supports us on a spiritual level, basically. Going back really quick to the Venus conjunct Mars. So this is also manifesting our desires and creativity and balancing inner harmony with external action. So kind of aligning our action to our value system as well. And Stefan Burns can talk to this more a little bit as well, but they also rule a couple metals. Venus rules copper, Mars rules iron, which creates magnetism and electricity. So I'm wondering if this particular conjunction might have something to do, might be resetting or bringing new opportunities for new electricity, new ways to harvest electricity, right? There are thoughts that there is free electricity, which would be amazing, especially as, things are out of control with how much electricity AI needs to use, and we're all paying the price for it, how much resources it needs to use. So there could be something around that. It also could, have some type of geomagnetic activity. Again, refer to Stefan Burns for all that stuff. But I just find that fascinating. And it could be bringing online as well. And some of these other transit suggest it as well, but could be bringing new opportunities with these two planets conjoining or planting the seeds for more like energy medicine, like anything related to energy, and because we are electric beings, right? So could be things like that as well. I just wanted to mention that before I forgot. So then with all these conjunctions and everything, we also have while that's going on, they are all in opposition to this Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. So Jupiter retrograde, right, brings, with the retrograde energy, brings it more internally. So this is a reviewing energy, looking at old opportunities that we may have missed, looking at, especially in the sign of Cancer, which is ancestry, and Jupiter is wisdom. I feel like this is bringing ancient wisdom. So maybe a lot of these new beginnings are, with Venus conjunct Mars, like, maybe learning more with this magnetism and electricity of Venus Mars, maybe learning more about the ancient technology that might be hidden under the pyramids or other amazing sites around the world. Maybe some of that knowledge is being rebirthed or rediscovered, and maybe looking to the past to see how we want to bring the past and integrate it into our future, bring the wisdom of the past and integrate it into these new beginnings that we are trying to make, that are in support of our reconnecting to, because Jupiter also rules Pisces, so Pisces and Sagittarius, which is belief systems and spirituality. So really, bringing the ancient wisdom of ancient traditions and things like that into these new beginnings, making sure that they are spiritually aligned, and moving us forward in the path of compassion and love and things like that. I also, as I've said in the last couple videos, feel like this Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, this is our emotional home, our emotional safety, as well as our home, right? Our nurturing. Cancer is representative of the mother and our nurturing instinct. So really bringing in this and expanding this nurturing, loving energy to all these new beginnings as well, and learning how to also maintain our own energetic boundary, right? Like nurturing others, but maintaining our own boundary system, so that we can understand others, hold space for them, but not let it take away from our energy at the same time. Okay, so then January 11th through the 15th is when these planets are going to be making the squares to Chiron and Aries. So like I said, I kind of see this as like an activation point. Chiron has been retrograde. We've been doing a lot of internal work, shadow work, kind of understanding what our I am energy and wounds are, where we've held ourselves back for the sake of others, where we haven't felt comfortable being our true, honest selves, claiming our sovereignty, claiming our I am, claiming our simple existence, and being comfortable with our own existence. We've been doing a lot of healing work, and now that Chiron is direct, we have an opportunity to embody that. And with all these squares happening, we're getting a chance to really embody that. And with the squares coming from the Capricorn energy, it is kind of like, okay, how do you put this into action, right? Capricorn is, okay, let's build it. Let's do the hard work. And so, Venus might be bringing some sort of financial or relation tension to Chiron to heal anything you have regarding there. The sun is kind of a healing moment of your ego and a challenge of your ego, and embodying that now you can respond differently and hold your space, claim your space, right? Without having your ego too inflated or too damaged. Mars is being willing to, fight for yourself and stand up for yourself, right? And to not hold back in doing things that you want to do and following your passions because somebody else might think it's silly, something like that. And then Mercury, is being comfortable in your own communication, not shying your voice and your speech for the sake of others, standing up and saying what you believe. And, in all of this, like I said, when I was reading the Sabian symbol, it is all about that learning to be in our sovereign selves, but also giving others the right to do the same thing, right? And not taking offense with it, being comfortable in who you are and not letting who other people are offend you, things like that. As well as not letting the noise of other people, like this is giving you the opportunity to work on building the structure of you, right? And healing these wounds, responding differently than you have before to show yourself that you have done the work, and to be able to move forward on a healed level, and to share, if you're so called, that healing that you have done with others. And to remember that at the same time, Chiron is still receiving this square from Jupiter retrograde as well, bringing, again, the nurturing energy, the compassion, the love, keeping you emotionally safe and providing you opportunities to look at the past, to have the wisdom of the past, to know how to respond better in the future, and providing luck and abundance, and growth in that. Okay, so that is it for this part 2 video. Next, we are going to start with January 14th through the 23rd, where all the personal planets will take turns making sextiles to Saturn and Uranus in Pisces. I look forward to seeing you there.